Atomic number is actually the number of protons that I've said before. For example, for an element called oxygen, oxygen has the atomic number of 8 and mass number of 16. So what this simply signifies is that actually that the proton number of oxygen, the number of positively charged ions inside oxygen is what? 8. And the number of negative is still 8. Because remember when I told you that an atom is electrically neutral, because that is the number of its positively charged ions is equal to the number of its negatively charged ions, making an atom to become neutral. And I told you before that the neutron does not contribute anything to an atom apart from its its weight and its mass. So that's the only thing that neutron contributes inside an atom. It and contributes to its mass. And what this shows is that the atomic mass is 16. While the proton number is 8, because that is atomic number. So atomic number of oxygen is equals to 8. And the electron number will also be electron number will also be 8. But the difference is that this is positive and this is negative. While the neutron number will now become equal, since this is 16 minus 8 will give you 8. That means neutron number is 8. So that's what when we talk about atomic mass. Remember I told you that atomic mass can also be called mass number. Atomic number can also become proton number. Then we have electron number. Then I told you something that I'm going to teach you about molecules and compounds. Molecules, compounds. Since I'm dealing with it, I will deal with electrons, elements. So what is an element? An element is a substance which cannot be split into simpler substances by an ordinary chemical process. A substance which cannot be divided or split into simpler elements by an ordinary chemical process. So that's what we call an element. So an element can be hydrogen, which we represent with H. So we have more than 200 elements. We have the one that are natural and the one that are not natural occurring. But hydrogen is an element. We have hydrogen. We can have helium. We can have lithium. We can have beryllium. I will stop here because I don't have the energy of taking all of them at once. I'm going to have a section where I will teach only about elements. So this is what an element is. Then we have, this is helium, this is lithium, this is beryllium. Then I will have a section where I will teach you more about elements. Then what is a molecule? A molecule is the combination of two the same or different atoms of an element. It's a combination of two of the same or different atom of an element. It's the combination of two or more different or the same atom of an element. This is another definition of a molecule. A molecule can also be, a molecule is actually the smallest part of a substance that can exist alone and still retain the chemical properties of that substance. For example, we have oxygen. Oxygen does not exist as one. It exists as a molecule in natural existence. So this makes oxygen a molecule. Having two oxygens combining together has made this a molecule. You can also say that this is a molecule. Sodium. This is also a molecule. A molecule of sodium hydroxide. This one is now different atoms of different elements coming together. I remember what I told you, that a molecule is the smallest part of a substance that can exist alone and still retain the chemical properties of that substance. That's two different definitions. It's either it is the combination of two or more different atoms of the same or different element. The same or different element. I know you may be finding it hard to understand this thing I'm writing here, but I'm going to have a section where I will teach you how to be able to write a chemical compound and balance equations. So I'm going to take time today, but this is called sodium hydroxide. So actually coming out of this, you can also say that this is a molecule. And another thing that exists as a molecule can be hydrogen. Hydrogen to this is a molecule of hydrogen. A molecule of hydrogen. Water, which we call H2O. This is a molecule of water. We don't have anything like an atom of water. and water is not an atom, it's a molecule. So this is a molecule of water. You can see in water we have two atoms of hydrogen combining with what? One atom of oxygen to form what? Water. You can see that here we have different atoms of different elements coming together to form what? One molecule of what? Of water. But in oxygen, it is the same what? The same atom of oxygen coming together to form this. We call this what? A molecule. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Then what is a compound? A compound is the combination of two or more different what? Elements that are chemically what? Combined together. Two or more different elements that are chemically combined together. We call it what? A compound. We call it what? A compound. You can have a compound which is because this is calcium oxide. This is a compound. This is what? A compound. Two different elements combining together to form what? One entity. You can see that this is what? A compound. This is a compound. You can also say that this is a compound. We call this calcium oxide. Calcium oxide. You can also look for another compound which we can call, okay, let's do this, sodium chloride. This we call this sodium chloride. You can see this is an element combining together to form one entity, which is what we call what? A sodium chloride. So this is sodium chloride, and sodium chloride is what? Is a compound. So thank you. In the next lesson, I'm going to take time to now teach you about elements. I will teach you about elements, how to be able to memorize them, how to know their atomic number, how to be able to know their valency and their combined other things. So in the next lesson, I will teach you about elements. So get set, and let me tell you, before we finish, you become a pro in chemistry. Thank you.